Welcome to the Party Invite podcast, where we strive to bring together a diverse group of enthusiasts to play, discuss, and enjoy everything video games. Tonight, we have party members Thomas Egan.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Vilos. It's me. You.
And if you're watching the video, Darth Vader in a Yule log.
Darth Vader on fire. Soon to be joined by Debbie Hill. Crackle, crackle, crackle. And I am your party leader, Chris Mau Mau. This is episode 50, which is insane. I know we've already said that, but that is an insane number to see. And it's our favorites of the year. So our party faves.
Yeah, baby.
Like Thomas said, we have so many categories to go through. So, Thomas, I am going to let you kick this thing off.
All right, so, like I said before the podcast started, this is all about our favorites of this year, right? It's not about the best things that came out this year. It also means that we're interested in things that we played this year. It doesn't matter when they came out. I played Oblivion this year, and Lizzie got to see that for the first time. That's going to get a mention somewhere on this list, right? I just played Faster Than Light. I just picked that up a couple weeks ago. That's going to find its way on this list. So it's really just about what we made memories with, what we had good experiences with, and less about what's new, what came out this year, or even what's best, honestly. I like plenty of games that are not the best, but I have a great time with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock them out in the same order that we made our posts online for all of you to cast your votes on. So we'll knock this out one bundle at a time. And our first bundle, we've got favorite co-op game, favorite family room game, and favorite game to spectate. So co-op game is obvious. Spectate is obvious. That could be watching your partner play on the couch or watching on stream on Twitch or YouTube. The family room game is all about something that you could put up in your living room in front of your family or your friends or whoever, and they could get into it. Generally, I would say that means any game that's rated M is probably not here, but that's not a hard and fast rule. Just the idea is that it's something that you could recommend to just about anybody without having to worry about who's in the room watching, impressionable children or anything like that. So, co-op game. I suppose I'll start with this. This was not intentional when we made this list to be the first one. But my favorite co-op game is It Takes Two. That's it. It happens to be the game that won Game of the Year for the Game Awards, which I thought was a surprise. It Takes Two is a game that requires a disclaimer, which is why I'm surprised it won Game of the Year for anybody. That is a game that I had a tremendous time playing with Lizzie. It starts off, and there are plenty, I know, Chris, you bounced off of it pretty hard because there are a bunch of times in it where it's just not clear what you're supposed to do. And if you're, on one hand, I would recommend this for people who have, a partner or a friend who doesn't game very much, but you better be prepared to help them because there are plenty of times in that game where you have to do some video game bullshit. Right? And it's not, if you don't play a lot of video games, you're not going to notice the thing that's kind of glowing but not quite brightly enough over here that you're supposed to shoot something at. Right. So it had a bunch of flaws with its design. I really hope they come out with a remaster of it. But disclaimer aside, that game had so many moments where Lizzie and I are sitting on the couch together, and whether we're doing one of the 12 or so mini games in there where you can compete against each other, doing anything from tug of war to throwing snowballs to shooting arrows at targets. There's so many mini games, but then there are all of these little interactions you have in the game that are just for fun. They don't mean anything. There's an area where there's a camera aimed at this rotating diorama, I guess. And you can swap out the environments, you can change where the camera's aiming and all this stuff, and then one or two of you can get in the frame and stick your head, like a tourist picture photo op thing. You can stick your head through it and make faces and all this stuff. But all these little things. Another one of my favorite ones, I wish I had recorded it. There's an area that has a train that runs through it, just a train where one of the players can hop on and be the conductor, and the other player can hop on and just ride. And you can speed up the train and slow down and stuff, but you go on this fun roller coaster that's actually cool to look at because the environment is really well done. It's not very clear from a game design standpoint, but when you're just looking at it, it's gorgeous. In that same area, there was a dartboard where you actually you pop yourself into a cannon and then light the fuse, and then you fly across the map and stick into wherever you shot. And I remember Lizzie and I doing that a bunch of times. We'd shoot, we'd miss, and we'd fall to the ground, and we'd run way back up. We'd race each other back to the top and throw ourselves in and shoot ourselves at the board. But there are just so many moments in that game where it was such a team effort, whether it was just for fun or if it was actually to progress the game. But all of these moments that just felt so good as a co-op experience.
Yeah, and to be clear, I only bounced off of it because Devin is not a gamer. So some of that stuff was real difficult, and she basically was bouncing off of it. So that makes the enjoyment for me, less, because I was like, oh, well, this will be something we can play together. Carlos, you want to hit this this next one for you and Devi both? This one
it looks like we both chose Back 4 Blood, and if you've been in our Discord anytime in the past couple months, you will have seen somebody playing Back 4 Blood, and that is because it's a hell of a good game, and we all obviously missed Left 4 Dead quite a bit. It seems like I think we've ended up going through probably 2 or 3 different rosters worth of people to play that game.
Yeah.
Still haven't finished it as a whole group yet, but
there's another game, fun co-op. Like, it's got problems, but it's a really good time.
But it's so satisfying. There's not really anything in the game that really stops from the enjoyment of it. I mean, even when it's just insanely difficult, or or if we lose connection and we have a bot replace somebody like Thomas, and that bot ends up just sharing ammo endlessly.
Here's all my ammo. I'm like, wait a minute, that's my ammo.
And even then, we still had a hell of a good time, even though that AI was completely fucking useless. They didn't kill a single Ridden, but it was not a true replacement for Thomas. But even then, it was a great time. It's a well developed game because like Turtle Rock, they know what they're doing. They've been doing the exact same game for most of the last 20 years. So
right.
It is what it is. It's a very particular game, and for a very particular audience, and it hit exactly the notes that we wanted. So I'm not at all surprised that Devi also chose that, because it's just such a damn good time, no matter who you're playing with. And what was your choice, Chris?
Oh, Chris is really excited, but muted.
Yes, I was muted. Look at that. I was going to say, it's wild to think that this game came out this year, because it feels like it was last year. But it is Outriders. I spent so much time with friends on this game. And it was fun to create these interesting builds of kind of mix and matching your mods on your weapons, on your armor and stuff. It was just it was a good time. It unfortunately at some point kind of just everybody stopped playing. So it just other stuff came out and everybody just kind of stopped. I've seen that they have done an update recently that takes out the timer for these like raid things at the end, expeditions, which now I don't know how those work now without a timer. Basically, like if you completed it within a certain time, you would get ranked either gold, silver, bronze, and based off of those, how you finished it, that's the kind of stuff you got at the end when they drop a giant loot pinata on you. But that game was cool. I know it had its problems, but like It was man, I put a lot of hours into it. I feel like I had several different characters. I accidentally deleted one. I think that's probably also why I started getting like, oh man, I can't play this game anymore. I accidentally deleted one. But yeah, it's a fun game. I had a really good time playing it. I know they're doing DLC, and they've done that update. So maybe when the DLC comes back around, I'll hop back in and check it out again. But it's been a while. I haven't thought about Outriders in a long time, which is why I was like, did that come out this year? I literally
when all the servers are down.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, whenever all the servers are down, just fucking get on that, like, after Christmas when everybody's trying to get into Halo, just get on Outriders and be like, yeah, boy.
Right.
I was gonna say, like, I had to go through like a doc today, or like I had to go to a website and be like, what came out this year, and like re-look through it and be like, oh, okay.
I've had to do the same thing. I've had to
Outriders
look
came out
through
this
each
year.
of my libraries and be like, what have I played? Like, part of it too, because Chris, yeah, that feels like that was last year. And so, like, for me,
totally.
I went through a move in the middle of the year. So my year was just cut into two pieces, and we're already in COVID times where you barely even know what season it is unless you check the calendar. At least that's how I feel. So, yeah, if you had asked me when Outriders came out, I would have said last year for sure. And I couldn't tell you. Like, knowing that it came out this year, it could have come out anywhere between March and June. February and June. I don't know when it came out.
This is one of those ones, I think, too, that'll have a resurgence, almost like what was that other game that is kind of similar to this that everybody kind of hopped on after the fact? The something of Ashes. What was it called? Fuck.
Remnant from the Ashes.
Thank you. There it is. Remnant from the Ashes.
You know, I had a stretch playing that with Devi and Lord Crone. That was a fun game.
Yes, and similar to that game, like, it's like 3-person squad, you know, doing all that stuff. But what I think it does is, like, if Outriders is on sale, which I'm sure it will be, or it probably was for Black Friday, but it definitely will be around Christmas time. They always do every store does a big sale around Christmas time. Just reminder. But if you and like some friends all pick it up for $20. And you like are consistently playing it, like, you will have a very, very good time.
Oh shoot! You know what? Shout out again to It Takes Two, because when you buy the game for $40, you get 2 copies of it, so you can just send it to your friend online. So if you wanted to split it, you'd each pay $20 for it. You don't have to each spend $40 on it, which is nice. Don't Starve and 7 Days to Die. Shoot! Oh my gosh, 7 Days to Die needs to be on this list. Okay, well, I guess that's my honorable mention. I've talked about it in other places. I won't go into big detail, but I picked up 7 Days to Die this year, and like, I don't know, sometime this year I picked it up. And I played with a bunch of people, learned the ropes, and had so much fun playing on a dedicated server. The game looks like it is 20 years old. Technically, it's only like 7 years old, and it's still an alpha somehow. That's a real thing. I did not make that up. But 7 Days to Die is a really fun co-op game, despite being like kind of janky, having terrible graphics, and running like garbage on the 7th day when all the zombies attack. You've got crafting, base building, all that good stuff. But there was like a month there where I was playing 7 days as my most regular game. And it's the thing that got me into survival games besides Don't Starve, which I've also been playing. So that'd be an honorable mention as well. But it was a really good year to play online co-op with your friends. Even playing Halo with everybody. I mean, we're all on the same team. You know, it's not a co-op campaign or anything, but it's a really good time to have people online to play with. Which again is a wonderful reason. I've loved our Discord this year, especially in the past 6 months. It's really been popping in there, and it's been a nice place. I am just about hitting my breaking point with Facebook. There are just so many things that are frustrating me about it, personally, and also as like trying to do anything with Party Invite. If I could snap my fingers and put our entire Facebook community on Discord, you bet I would. So it's been really nice.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's go, Twitch gang.
Twitch gang.
All right, so we've got 32 other categories, so we should probably move to that next one there.
Bet. So family room game.
Yeah, we also have Debbie has entered the chat. So if you want to
it was supposed to be a surprise.
Did you see your flaming Yule log replacement? It's glorious.
Nice.
Oh, I thought that was a live feed of me burning like the bones of my enemies. I was like, how did you get that footage?
Thomas, real quick. We have 2 Thomases, a Chris and a Debbie.
Oh my gosh, I always forget to check the frames. Okay, hold on, I'll fix it.
Well, I look to be the right person. We're good there.
Me, disguising myself here.
Let's see.
For those bones.
I'm the new Thomas.
That's the thing. I never remember to check these. Let's
Thank
see.
you, Odysseus.
Big oof.
Devi, co-op game. We just covered ours. We talked about Back 4 Blood, which you got on the list.
Yeah. So I just stuck my initial by Back 4 Blood because I didn't actually really play a lot of co-op games this year, and so Back 4 Blood was like the immediate obvious choice for me because of how much fun we had, doing our own little segment with it. It was just great. It recaptured the Left 4 Dead like atmosphere. That kind of chaos, but also added its own little twist with the card system and everything. How it's just the one campaign with multiple acts instead of multiple campaigns with one act, which was really neat. And the whole cast of characters is just like a big old eclectic bunch. So Back 4 Blood is very obviously like a contender of the year for me for that category.
Well, it's a good one. Yeah, we've had a bunch of people playing it this year, and it's been wonderful. Ignore the stuff on the stream, everybody. The next category we've got is family game. Mine is short and sweet. Elder Scrolls Online, or family room game. So something you can put on in the family room of your house. Basically, a game that you can recommend to anybody, whether they've got impressionable children or not. Elder Scrolls Online has just been a great game for me to watch. It's been my game to spectate this year, as I've watched Lizzie play it. There we go. So that's been great. All I really have to say about it is the environments and the quest lines in that game are a whole lot better than I gave them credit for when I played that game. It's come a long way, but there was one specific memory I have of Lizzie being in some zone, and she did one quest that was... Basically, she did these 2 quests back to back that were very well written and nothing alike. They couldn't have been more different. And the fact that both of them were very good at what they did was very impressive. It's easy. I usually paint MMOs into a corner where I'm just like, I don't know, it's a fetch quest, go kill some boars, right? Like, I'm sure there's cool lore back there, but I don't know how much I care. But Elder Scrolls Online was the first fully voiced MMO that I've ever watched, and it's nailing what it's doing. The fact that I can listen to the game and then look over when something crazy is going on has been great. So I've loved that, just being on the screen in our living room this year. That's why, like I said later, that's my favorite game to spectate.
Speaking of MMOs, and I know this is kind of like, we got a lot to get through, but this is a quick little blurb. Final Fantasy XIV, notorious for its free trial splurge about, Heaven's Word and all that whatnot. They are so full right now of people that they stopped their free trial.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, the free
Pretty
trial
funny
is no
news
longer
today.
available. They're not selling the game anymore until they get with their retailers and, figure out the logistics of, new servers and having people up in here. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. It's a good problem to have, but I think that's the first time I've heard of that. Probably there's another time.
I think the news broke like early this morning, something like that.
That's wild. What do we got, Vilos? What's a family room game for you?
Yeah, mine's another easy one. So it's Among Us, because you cannot be offended by it. You really can't. If somebody's not aware of any kind of video games and they see you playing that in the family room, then they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's this? Okay, let me try it out." And yeah, we've obviously had a ton of fun with it over several community nights and a couple big Extra Life events in the past year. So yeah, by far Among Us, it's non-threatening. It's huge for the industry and just always a good time. Easy pick.
There's later on, we're going to talk about accessibility, but something that's cool about Among Us now, you can interact and do all this stuff using a chat wheel so that you can effectively communicate even if you're on a console, right? It just came out for console, or on your phone. And so the fact that you can play with random people and still communicate effectively is really nice. It opens it up where it doesn't matter hardly what language you speak. It doesn't matter how old you are or your vocabulary. Some people don't like to be on the mic with other people. Yeah, it's got a lot going on for it. Debbie, family room game.
I don't have a family. No, so what I have is, for my pick, I have Mario Party Superstars. And that's just because it is just such a good time to play with family. Bowser and I have been playing it. We played it, I think, last week, and then before that, we've been playing it like off and on. And every time it's just so crazy because there's always a story that comes out of it that like from a zany thing that happened on a turn, and we still have yet to play all the mini games on it. There's only like 100 or something, but it seems like every time we play, it's always something different, and it's always something different in a way that I can like regale.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a lot of fun because it's family, but it's not like kiddish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people look at family categories and stuff, and they're just like, oh, that's just for the kids. Well, first of all, Mario Party has never been for the kids.
Everybody's going to be screaming in
if
that
you've
house.
never played Mario Party before, it's not for the kids. But it's also one of those games that no matter when you throw it on or how you feel when you do put it on, it's always just going to make your day.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a good family game to me.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
So I know that this game can definitely not be family friendly, but my pick was Jackbox because I've done a lot of family gaming with Jackbox recently. So, family will come over for holidays and we'll throw on Jackbox and play a few rounds of whatever, right? Quiplash or all that stuff. The trivia, the murder trivia party.
You're nailing this.
Jesus. Yeah, crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. I just think those games are fantastic. And usually they don't get as much love on the Game of the Year side of things because they, one or two of them come out a year, right? You'll get like box 7 or 8 and everybody goes, oh, those are great. And then that's like the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
I think Giant Bomb tried to give it some love a couple years ago by putting it in their like best music, because they always have great music going on in their games. But mine's Jackbox. I know it can definitely not be family oriented, but it is something I definitely play in the family room. So
yeah, I mean we've played Jackbox at our like family holiday get-togethers before, so I think that totally fits.
Right. Yeah.
Those are really good. A few years back, my family, I introduced them to Heave Ho, having no idea how they would receive it, and they loved it. Like that game is a great. I mean, any of these, like, so Jackbox is a great like holiday get together kind of game, right? Elder Scrolls Online. I'm not exactly going to show up to Thanksgiving and watch Lizzie play Elder Scrolls, but there are a lot of different things that this category can be, right?
Right.
This is just an example of the kind of co-op or spectator stuff. That's why this is all bundled in the same thing here, is that there are a lot of ways to enjoy games with other people that aren't just playing. Like people will say, what, you watch somebody play a video game? It's like, well, you can watch somebody play on Twitch and enjoy it one way. You can watch your partner play in the living room and enjoy it a different way. You can listen to game soundtracks. You can play a co-op game together where you're both on the couch. You can do all sorts of things. But I love that stuff. So the last one on here is Game to Spectate. I had mentioned already Elder Scrolls Online is really my winner. The honorable mentions I've got is Spider-Man, Miles Morales. That game, I watched Lizzie beat that thing top to bottom. That game, very good. But
yeah, it is.
Not necessarily a kid game, right? It's got a lot going on that's not kid stuff, but it's still a game that you could play around anybody. Another one is Bugsnax. I don't think Bugsnax has gotten the love it deserves this year because it came out right at the release of PS5, but nobody had a PS5 a year ago. Like, we got lucky because we literally won the Sony lottery to get one. But Bugsnax is a good game. It's like Pokemon Snap with RPG mechanics, I guess. That's not a very good description of it. But Bugsnax is a cool game. No game of the year or anything, but definitely family room status.
Plus, I had like a really cute theme song.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's cute.
Oh, we're not gonna recite that song.
No.
No,
Definitely not.
I don't know it, so
Sing
I wasn't going to.
My pick is a quick and easy one as well. Fall Guys. We all know what Fall Guys is, but it's one of those things that if you're just not feeling competitive, but you want to see something that feels like a game show, like all these other games seem to. The Jackboxes and Among Us, and of course the Mario Parties of the world. Fall Guys is just super pleasing to watch. You've got some more unassuming characters that are just flopping around a stage, failing all the time. I mean, it really doesn't get better than that when you just want to watch something funny. And they keep it very lively by bringing out new seasons, new costumes, all that kind of stuff all the time. I feel like it's like season 14 or something. It's probably season 7 in reality. So there's always new content. It's always very fresh and incredibly fun all the time.
Plus, their Twitter is just like so fun.
It is.
Definitely.
They got Doom Guy on there. Lol.
What did I have? Oh, mine's easy too. Halo Infinite. That's a fun watch. I could literally just sit in the Discord and watch you guys play, and I would be having just as much fun as I would if I was playing it.
Agree.
Yeah.
I've actually been watching them, the HCS tournaments, because I haven't been watching them live, but I've been going back on YouTube to the Halo Esports YouTube and watching the VODs while I'm like playing Pokemon. And wow. And I was telling Tegan about this the other day, but some of the strategies that you see them formulating, like now, even in this early meta, are just so out of this world. I saw somebody like grapple across the map and then turn around and then grapple the flag to capture the flag. I was like, why did I ever think of that?
Oh,
like,
that's wild.
you can grapple everything else, but I just never thought of that. And then he just turned around and like did this thing with he dropped the grapple hook and picked up a repulsor jumped, and then oh gosh, it was like a rocket. It had something to do with a rocket. Oh, I can't remember. It's so much fun to watch. It just is, especially at high caliber play. But I like watching us play too, because a lot of zany things happen that you just can't replicate in any other games. Like Halo's one of those games that makes you feel like it exactly replicates the youthful goofiness of like the Halo of old. Infinite did a really good job of that.
Yeah. Just the other day, earlier this week, I want to say, I think it was like Tuesday. It was a random day this week that we jumped into Halo. We had like 6 of us playing or something like that. And we had a few more people, including you, who weren't even playing, who were just hanging out, watching and chatting. And we were in a Team Slayer match, and I had literally my best game of Halo I've ever played. And it was fun because, like, yeah, we were all playing together, but Mr. Jerp and Lord Chrome were not playing, but they were spectating me. And so it was fun because it felt like I was streaming on Twitch because I've got the peanut gallery behind me yelling stuff out. And that was just so much fun. It's been a blast watching even Odysseus. I watched him play a bunch of Frostpunk this year. What is it? Inscription is a game that takes about 10 hours to beat. He put in 50 hours in that game, and I watched probably, I don't know, at least 20 of those hours in Discord. So it's been a good year for watching Twitch or for watching other games.
Absolutely.
So what have we got? If we're all good in that category, then the community.
Debbie had one.
Oh, did I skip over?
Wow.
Oh, I am so sorry. I did. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Look up the police right quick. Hold on. But no, the one that I have is Century Age of Ashes, which is that new dragon game that recently came out, free to play on Steam. Just because even when I'm not playing, I've been watching people like stream it and stuff. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It is such a spectacle. Games are always intense, even if you're just playing casual quick play. Ranked mode is really interesting to watch because of the different approaches that people have there, as opposed to the same mode in casual. And they just released a new event today called Frost and Fire, I think. Something like that. It's all winter oriented. 3 new dragons came out, a whole bunch of goodies and whatnot. But they also added a free-for-all mode. And let me tell you what, that mode is something to watch because you already know how hectic the game was team oriented. Mm-hmm. But free-for-all, everybody's just on everybody. It's just flamethrowers everywhere.
Especially if everybody has different dragons.
Yeah.
Like different types.
Which is helped by all the new ones that came out today. Is today the 16th? Yeah. It just came out today. So, I mean, and Thomas, I know you were having a really good time watching it whenever I was doing it in Discord.
That was cool.
So I was just like, games to spectate? Sentry. Easy.
Yeah, that is a very pretty game, and I'm jealous that it looks so good on your computer. Like, that thing was crisp and running at high frames. Like, if you like dragons, and everybody does, that's a good game to watch.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Then
we should move on to the next because we have a lot to go through, and we're already almost an hour in.
So the community votes are best co-op game, It Takes Two, Back 4 Blood, Valheim. So 2 of those were on our list. Family room game, Jackbox Games, also on our list. And then best to spectate was Dead by Daylight, Phasmophobia, and Halo. Thanks everybody for casting your votes. Those are still up, and those will remain up indefinitely. So if you want to go back and chat on those, we're still interested. I love those conversations of hearing what people are really excited about. So our next bundle is all sound oriented. It's soundtrack / audio design. It is game sounds to AFK2 and Bop of the Year. So mine, if I get started, all 3. It's a clean sweep of Inscription. Inscription has all the audio I ever wanted. It has. I'll just tell you why it's all 3. I don't even know which song is my Bop of the Year, but they have all these boss fights that are in different sections of the game, and I'm not going to spoil anything here during this podcast, but in different sections of the game, there are dramatically different things going on, and the music so well matches the environment you're playing in, it's staggering. They just do such a good job of marrying what you're looking at with what you're hearing. Just so many good sounds, like audio design. It's everything from the sound of the cards every time you're dealt cards. It's the sound of your chair scraping against the floor when you stand up and walk around the room. Just lots of little things like that. The sound of the teeth falling on the scale whenever you deal or are dealt damage. To AFK, when you're in the section of the game that's in the trailers, you play through like a swamp area and these other things. And when you're in the swamp area, it's raining. And so if you're just sitting there, I've left Inscription on in the background just to hear the rain sounds on the roof while I'm doing other things. And I love that. So I don't know what my Bop of the Year is, but top to bottom, the sound in that game is wonderful. It's a Devolver Digital joint, and I'm here for it.
I think I know which one you want to pick, Thomas.
Yeah? What's that?
The Trapper theme.
It's really good. The humming one?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
There's
lots of good stuff. My honorable mention is Halo's menu music is better than it has any right to be. And I looked up the menu music on YouTube, and it's like many dozens of minutes of different songs because like anything can play on that menu. So you can sit in an AFK to it for a while and hear a lot of different things. I played that game for almost 10 hours before I actually heard the main Halo theme on there. And then when I did, I was like, did they update the game or was I just here long enough to hear it?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'll just go ahead and do mine because it kind of mixes in. So if we had split this one, soundtrack and audio design, soundtrack very closely, it was really Halo Infinite soundtrack. But for technically more of the year, I was obsessed with Metroid Dread. And so not only is the soundtrack fantastic for that, if you're not familiar with it, it brings back a whole lot of touches from all the previous Metroid stuff, which had definitely was a little bit of inspiration in the OG Halo music with the sci-fi creep factor. But Metroid Dread's audio design in itself is just so exact, with all the clinking of footsteps and the threatening presence that you get with the enemies in Dread is just spectacular. A lot of it is through sound. So for me, they just did such a job. Mercury Steam put a lot of work into designing the world of Metroid, and it just came together in a whole package for me. But I will say, for anybody that's not familiar, a lot of the Halo music for Infinite was actually it was technically 2 to 3 main composers, but one of them is Gareth Coker, who did the Ori both Ori game soundtracks. And if you have missed out on the Ori game soundtracks, you need to look up Gareth Coker and just listen to all of the stuff that he's done.
Dude, that's like
It's
a family room album. Honestly, both of those, both of the Orius are great.
And that's like 4 or 5 hours of soundtracks you can listen to and just never tire of it.
They're relaxing too. I've played those a couple times while I was driving. I've never even played the Ori games. I've watched them a bunch. But those are like my background instrumental. Here there are a couple classical music stations on the radio. But I'm like, man, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, boot it up on Spotify. It's the good stuff.
I'm going to piggyback off of Thomas's for at least soundtrack and audio design. I went with Inscription. It was close between this and Death's Door. But with Inscription, it's just everything. The way the cards sound, they have a real weight to them. Just every little thing that you touch and do in that game, the sound is perfect. It's crazy that a card game, we're talking about how good the sounds are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, it's weird to me because like I'm also playing like a lot of MTG Arena, and like all of the sounds in that game are too loud. Just too loud. You mixed it too loud. It doesn't need to be this loud and intense, especially if somebody's playing it on their phone. Like, it's just unnecessary.
Chris, when I was watching you play the other day, I had you on my screen over here as I did my main stuff, and you'd be playing for a while, and I'd just hear like card sounds, and some music.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, very loudly, a human would talk and say something, and I'm just like, "What am I hearing?" I realized
it's because when they drop the they'll put in the what are those
planeswalkers.
Planeswalkers will talk, and it's like, why is this so loud?
And
like,
why
you're doing it wrong.
It only happens once every 10 minutes, so it's like it's always a shock.
But we're not talking about bad audio design. We're talking about great audio design.
Yes.
And Inscription, like, really did it for me. Like I said, Death's Door would have been really close second because the person that designed the game also made the soundtrack, which is just insane for Death's Door. But Inscription took it for me.
As far as mine go, for the audio design, I chose Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because the way that they remastered the original Sinnoh soundtrack is just like, I was on stream, and every time like the Galactic theme would come on, or the Elite Four or the Gym Leader theme would come on, I was just up in there like, for those who are listening instead of watching, I'm doing the Michelle Obama hand dance. But it sounds so good, like unexpectedly so, and especially after the big scare that we had, because their first trailer had placeholder music, and so we were like, "Is this what's gonna sound like?" Because I don't like that. But no, they came out swinging. It's awesome. And when I had the pleasure of fighting the champion and that theme kicked in, oh, it was over. It was over. So good. Um, for my AFK win, I have Faster Than Light because Bowser plays it all the time, and he plays it on the PC, like which is our it's basically our TV in our living room. He has his towers hooked up to the our 62-inch, and so he'll play games on there sometimes. And he'll be playing that, and I'm just chilling on the couch doing whatever I'm doing, and the background music to FTL is just immaculately chill.
It's so good.
Like, wasn't that the game that you said you had listened to for like 10 years before playing it or something like that?
The game came out in 2012, and I've been listening to it since probably 2013. And it's on. There's usually at least one song of that on that album on my like Spotify Wrapped every year. Even now, like Faster Than Light and Fez are almost, and Skyrim are almost always on my most listened tracks. Yeah, I just picked up FTL for the first time, and so for anyone who doesn't know, in FTL, you've got a bunch of themes that play throughout the game, but that theme is modified in 20 different ways depending on what is happening in your game. So like whatever theme is playing, and then you run into a specific type of enemy, and then now it's a different version of that. And then the battle ends, and the song keeps playing, but it goes back to the different, to the original version. And now you're fighting another enemy, and it's another version of it. So you'll be listening to the same themes for a while, but they all have different versions, and I don't get tired of it.
Yeah. Like dynamic motif music is like just some of my favorite things. Like in Banjo-Kazooie, it'll be like playing the one theme, and then you go underwater, and then it's like the same theme, but like underwatery with like glockenspiels and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Like dynamic motifs are some of the best audio design that I like. That's my favorite thing about music and video games. Honorable mention there is Risk of Rain 2, because that game is also very good soundtrack to AFK 2.
Yeah.
And my bop of the year, I kind of just chose this based on the music that I could like remember being obsessed with. And for the longest time, I was obsessed with the Knockout City soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Because it's got like this genre fusion of like funk and jazz, but then also there's like a couple of ditties on there that are like alt rock, and there's like hip hop on there. So like it's like an amalgamation of like really good music. But my favorite song from the original soundtrack, and I don't know if I haven't played since like the end of season 2. They're on season 4 now. So I don't know about any new songs that they may have added, but my favorite that I know is called Devil's Cove, which is kind of like a surfer rock little ditty. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's on Spotify. The whole soundtrack is. So if you guys want to check that out, just look up Knockout City official soundtrack, and Devil's Cove is my pick. I almost picked Key to Litter Chaos because it sounds like, gosh, what is that song by No Doubt? Keep on dancing, like that song.
Hella good.
Thank you. It sounds like the bass line is the same. So that's one of my favorite songs on there too. But Devil's Cove just inches it out.
We'll bet. Let's see. What did the community say? Community said, let's see. Favorite. So I like this because this shows a wide variety of.
Hold on 1 second. What's happening? Are we moving on?
Well, yeah. After we talk about the community picks for the category we just named.
Well, hold on. Well, okay, because we just skipped over everything else.
My bad. I thought we had all covered the whole thing.
No, well, I can.
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Chris, you lead the way. You lead the way.
I can go through mine really quick. My AFK is Deathloop on PlayStation 5. When you just hover over the icon on the menu, it'll just play like the theme, and it's fantastic. I've literally like left my PlayStation on, and it just is like on just in the menu. It's just hovering over it, and it's just playing this theme that is just. It'll be going for hours, and I had no idea, or didn't even notice, and it's like that's fantastic. Then my bop of the year is "Walking Around the Town" by Pusher from the game Echo Generation. This song technically came out last year, but the game released this year, so it's incredible, 8-bit, 16-bit style music, but it's really, really, really good. The whole soundtrack is good, but "Walking Around the Town" by Pusher from the Echo Generation soundtrack. It is on Spotify as well, so you can see it there.
What do we got? Carlos, sounds AFK too?
Yeah, for mine was Behind the Frame. For anybody that's not familiar with Behind the Frame, it's a beautiful, really artistic escape room slash drama that's just incredibly heartwarming. It will make you sad, it will make you cry, but it's about an hour, exactly an hour long, and it's got a lot of bops to it. That's another one that's entirely on Spotify, so definitely check it out. Behind the Frame, it's one of the amazing Acapro games, I believe, that came out this year. And my bop of the year officially is The Banks of the River Are Lined with Gold from the Artful Escape. And that's just because, like, I am not a folk music person in the slightest, like 100% not. But when that song starts in Artful Escape, you're just like, what? Am I into this already? It's like not even 3 minutes into the game, and you're just like, yeah, okay, you hooked me. Okay, thank you.
Dude, I left that menu on for a long time the weekend that I played that.
Is Behind the Frame that like the artisty game, like about the artist, like that Studio Ghibli looking game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
The one
check
during
it out.
the release
I
where
think
we're
it's on
like,
sale right now, actually.
we're like, okay, but show us some gameplay. This isn't what the game looks like. And then it
Yeah.
was. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Flashbacks.
I'll just eat my words real quick. What else we got? We've got, you said The Banks of the River. Chris, you said that. Okay, so I think now I have finished jumping the gun, and I'll make sure I do it again later. The community said their favorite soundtrack audio design that they played this year was God of War 2018, Death's Door, Life is Strange True Colors, and Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. So that's a wide variety of games, and
Yes,
I love
is.
that. To AFK 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Valheim, and Sable. Valheim, I had Skyrim and Valheim on my honorable mentions. That lots of time listening to that music. And then Bop of the Year, let's see, we got The Summit by Bear McCreary for God of War. We've got the Halo main theme, just in general. I don't know if that was to Infinite or otherwise, but motifs, baby. And Yuki. Did I write that down? I'm not sure what Yuki is, actually, but somebody said it was...
but I don't know who it was that contributed that one.
Somebody said it was their favorite, so it's on the board. So our next bundle is all art and style. It's beautiful looking stuff. It's art direction, original style, and most beautiful. So really, this is just, does it look good? Great. I said Carrion. Carrion. That game is gross. The whole it's got this nice, like, not really crisp, but gorgeous, disgusting pixel art to it. Where, of course, Carrion is a game where you play as basically the thing. You play as the monster trying to escape the lab, and so you kill and eat all the humans, and then impersonate them to try to escape. And yeah, the whole game from top to bottom, I just loved watching the animations for it, the movement. It all felt so good. But the reason that mattered was that the pixel art in it, just everything fit together so well. Like when things looked clean, they looked clean, and then when they looked dirty, they looked dirty. And
this is your pick for art direction, right, Tom?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
just because the way that they really made you feel like you were spreading your nasty, tentacly self all over this base. Like sometimes getting absolutely massive where you're taking up half the screen, and other times you get super, super tiny to fit through a small ventilation duct.
Hashtag biomass.
Yeah.
Yes.
That game, I loved that game, and I wouldn't have played it without Carlos's recommendation. But the visuals are a snack, and it's not like the most beautiful game I've ever played, but man, I couldn't get enough of it. That was the game I didn't want it to end. I don't say that for a lot of games. I did not want that game to end because I didn't want to stop looking at it.
It is very visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah, good word. Good word for that.
All right, who's next? Any one of you?
I'll do mine. I can do mine really quick. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I was really torn hear where to put it in art direction or most beautiful, because that game is insane looking. It is just wild. So I gave it to art direction, because I feel like my pick for most beautiful kind of stepped that up just a little bit farther. But like Ratchet and Clank, they always look amazing, but the art direction in this one, with you jumping through different dimensions and all these things, is really, really, really great looking. Like it's a feast, a visual feast. So I went ahead and gave Ratchet and Clank the nod for art direction.
For mine, I just have Naraka Blade Point, which is the new battle royale. Well, it's not. It's relatively new. I'm not actually sure if it's even like fully outside of early access yet, because when is any game nowadays?
Yeah, right.
But I chose Naraka Blade Point for art direction just because, like, have you seen it? Like,
that's the game you did your Extra Life character creator on. That was a good looking game.
It's basically, so I don't know who in the chat is familiar with like the Perfect World games, or not Perfect World, but the Black Desert games. So Black Desert, Crimson Desert, and yeah, the Perfect World games, because they have similar art directions as well. But it's super gorgeous, photorealistic, and I do mean that, photorealistic vistas and lighting, and the people, everything just is so spectacular. So I was like, oh, well, if I'm thinking about a game that I played recently that has art direction, like out the wazoo, it's probably Naraka Blade Point.
Yeah, you're not playing avatars. You are playing human beings.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. They are so well defined. Like, if I watched that in 4K on something, I would be like, where am I looking at pores? I am looking at pores. It's
you can
gorgeous.
see the pores.
Yeah.
You can see the skin textures and everything.
How sweaty are they?
That's what you want them to be.
They don't show their sweat because they're warriors on the battlefield. They'd much rather show their enemy's blood than their own sweat.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah.
Mine was another easy and quick pick, the Artful Escape, because very much like your Ratchet and Clank pick, this is all about traversing many different worlds. And I mean, you're just in space seeing all kinds of psychedelic bullshit through the entire Artful Escape. And I feel like it was both a storybook and a Wes Anderson movie at the same time. Just really phenomenal direction to go. It was not at all what I expected visually, and I mean, they took it in a direction. That's the definition right there.
That game reminds me of very, very vaguely of Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. I'll skip original style for just this second. I'm going to skip over to most beautiful. I originally didn't have one written down, and I still don't know what I think is the most beautiful game I saw this year, but the screenshots people shared of the new Forza game, what?
Oh, yeah.
I love staring at photography, and if I didn't know that was a game, it's like when people share Red Dead Redemption 2 photos. You know, famously, people will send them into the news and be like, oh, check out my photo from my hike or something, and they'll post it, share it thinking that it's a real photo. A bunch of the photos of those cars, like you can practically smell the rubber on the tires. They're just gorgeous. I mean, I've stared at some of the screenshots people shared a few weeks ago, Chrome and oh man, Steve-O. I mean, it blows my mind that a game can look like that, and like not just the stills, but also when it's moving. But those stills are so photorealistic, it melts like, my brain.
Some random Facebook friend is like, yo, you see my Lamborghini Diablo? And you're like, what? You're just like, oh, okay, you really got me for a second there.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I also thought about going that way. I ended up going, because I had to put it somewhere in here, Kena Bridge of Spirits. That game is beautiful. Similar to Ratchet and Clank, it's very Pixar looking or DreamWorks looking. It's really a gorgeous game. The animation's really, really nice. and for that small of a studio to put out something like that as their first game too. So that could have been in debuts also, but really, really impressive visuals, and it's just it's real pretty to look at. Like I haven't played much of that game. I played like the first couple hours, and then I would just like start the game and just let it sit, and I just like walk around the world and look at it. Mm-hmm. It's a really, really, really pretty game.
Then let's see.
I just have Naraka again for most beautiful because those reasons I said it's real pretty.
It's real pretty.
Plus, I can recreate myself in it, and I'm real pretty. So most beautiful, obviously.
Modest too.
Yeah.
I'm the best at being modest. I'm so humble, y'all. It's not even funny.
I went with Sable for most beautiful just because it's something that is highly unique. It's something that everybody needs to see. And it was really just two people that created it. It's another game here that's in a world by itself. A very realized immersion. It's so unique. Like, I feel like there hasn't been a game that was as unique as Sable since like Return of the Obra Dinn. It's one of those games that people are really not pushing themselves to develop games with a visual style that's this unique. And I'll correct myself just a little bit. Moondown, the horror game, is very similar as well. But when I can say that 3 games are so unique that nothing else is touching what they're doing, that means something. And Sable, I bought a copy of Edge magazine that has Sable on the cover, and I'm just like, I need to keep this magazine in perfect condition. It is so pretty. It's kind of sublime. Yeah.
An honorable mention I would have had for probably style, which I'm going to tell you in a second, is Griftlands. But that one doesn't look like nothing. What it looks like is 80s animation. It looks like the movie Heavy Metal. It's just that I've never seen another game that looked like that. So where like Sable kind of has that 80s animation going for it, nothing looks like Sable. I've never seen anything that looks like Sable. Yeah, that's certainly one of a kind. Griftlands is good. It's a snack. I love watching it, but it can't hold a candle to Sable.
Right.
But what does get my vote, as with Carlos, as with Chris, for original style, is Inscription, baby. That game, so it's really tough to tell you why the style is so good without totally spoiling the game. And everyone should go play that game, so I really, really don't want to spoil it. But what I will say is that game goes through a lot of changes where, to oversimplify it, the style of the table and the cards that you're playing with very dramatically change over the course of that game. And when they do, just like we said, the sounds that as they change throughout the game are always so, not only are they so good for each individual item, they all come together to paint such a broad picture where every single part of it is top tier. It's top notch. And so with the style in this game, it's not only the audio, but it's the characters. I mean, it's the visuals of the table that you're playing on and the cards you're playing, but also the escape room elements and the way that all of those change as the game changes. But basically, imagine a movie like Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers has episodes where they'll have guest animators, right? So you're still looking at the same characters, but they're animated in completely different ways. But you see why, like, this is emphasized on one character by this artist, and in another artist it's de-emphasized and something else is emphasized. Imagine that with Inscription, because I can't tell you anything because I don't want to spoil it. Basically, imagine that.
Right.
Where you've got...
I mean, a lot of people are saying it's an anthology is what you're referring to. An anthology like the VHS films or something like that. Just that little uniqueness in between each different part.
But it's all... you've got different versions of the same things. So you know what you're looking at. So the way that they're so creative and execute so well on making those individual parts into very distinct, different things... It's incredible. Just that whole game, I just never wanted it to end, to be honest. Every section of that game, I just wanted more and more and more. Turns out, though, there's actually a beta, so the section of the game that you can see in the trailer, you actually can do endlessly, which is fun. But yeah, Inscription, it's not even close that has my favorite style of the year. There's so much I like about it.
I have not had the pleasure of playing Inscription, but if I had, I probably would have put it for my original style as well, which would have given it like, full sweep of the category.
Sweep.
But for my choice, I have Knockout City because it is this wonderful, jaunty little blend of like Art Deco elements with neon, like grunge neon elements. So just like how the music marries these different genres together, the arts, like the appearance of everything, kind of mimics that as well. And all of the characters, they're like really very expressive. They're all kind of like they have that like cartoony kind of feel, that bouncy, stretchy, cartoony kind of feel, like something like Overwatch or Fortnite would have. But the way that they capture genuine expression is really just takes it over the top for me, I think. Plus that Art Deco blend of grunge neon as well, because Art Deco is one of my favorite aesthetics. I love Art Deco.
Yeah, same.
So for the uninitiated, that would be like the Skullgirls aesthetic, like very gold and brassy from like the Flapper era with like the exaggerated lettering and everything.
Even a bunch of the stuff you see in Cuphead, like on the menus and stuff.
Yeah, that would be considered Art Deco as well. So that is my pick for that. BioShock, yes, would be Art Deco as well.
Yes.
A lot of BioShock.
Do you guys have anything else to say about Inscription? I know I kind of threw a lot of words at you.
Later.
Cool.
All good.
Cool. Okay, let's see. That was 79. Let's see. What did the community have to say? For this entire category, we saw Death's Door and Psychonauts for... Hold on, I gotta get this right. So art direction, original style, most beautiful. So Death's Door and Psychonauts. Then we saw Wind Waker, the Zelda game, Squingle, which I know nothing about and need to look up, and Death's Door. And then we had Sea of Thieves, Sable, and Cyberpunk. So again, I love the variety in these games. And for anybody who didn't join us at the beginning of the podcast, again, this is all about the favorites of things that we've played this year, us and the community, regardless of when they came out. We're not arguing what's the best. We're just arguing, what were our favorites. And I love seeing the wide variety of things.
I've been trying to keep it to this year the whole time.
Oh, no.
Like this in last year. Let me just go ahead and...
Well, next we've got our next bundle is narrative, character, and performance. So this is all about storytelling. So I don't even think I wrote down a single thing in this category. No, what I do have is the Leshy, who's the person in Inscription, he's the shadowy figure with the orange eyes across from you at the table. One of my favorite games from the whole year. We had mentioned in sound design, when he speaks, whenever you read his text, he has this droning sound that I love. I would go to sleep to that sound. But everything about Leshy's character, by the end of the game, I really came to enjoy. Can't really tell you why, but I love that character. And again, Leshy's not going to win a best character in any category, but he's my favorite character.
No, he might. Like, I watch when Giant Bomb and stuff comes around. Like people are talking very highly of this character.
Cool. That's nice.
So
to
I
hear.
think you'll start seeing it once all that stuff starts coming out.
I have an honorable mention for the puppet show in Control. It feels like I played Control a whole year ago, and that's almost true. I played it about January or so, February of this year. And I love that. That game is in easily my top 10 games I've ever played, maybe my top 5. But there's a puppet show in there that almost got cut from the game. I read about it. The short version is, in the lore of the game, they needed a way to explain to children why spooky paranormal things exist. And so to do that, they do this live action, like an actual puppet show. It's not CGI, it's all real stuff. And these puppets like introduce these really complex ideas in a way that these kids can understand. And the whole thing is super weird and very unsettling and kind of funny. And I've never seen anything like it in a game. And I just wanted to shout that out because I read that it almost got cut because it's just so weird. But that became one of the things in the game I looked forward to the most because it was just dripping with all of the elements of that game boiled into one. The scary and the funny and the creative and all that stuff. Don't see a lot of puppet shows in games.
Definitely don't.
Definitely don't. And then I can talk between you guys, but I mean, that's the one I felt the most strongly about. Anything else I had, I would say for performance, maybe the two main characters in Deathloop, but I'm only like 3 hours into Deathloop. But I gotta say, they seem like they're killing it.
It's good. Something I was struggling with when I got to this part was I was like, I haven't played a game that was like super narrative driven this year. Like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, I could put Inscription in here, but I'm putting Inscription in a lot of places. So like, let's try to give something else a nod. My pick, and then I have an honorable mention. My pick is Hitman 3, because I remember, and this is crazy to think about how long ago this was, Thomas, but when Hitman 3 was coming out, like how excited I was about playing through 2 and getting through 3 and like following that story. Mm-hmm. Like it really felt like you were watching like a Netflix show or an FX show.
Yeah.
And it was really, I think it was really good. My honorable mention is Returnal because that whole thing is based around narrative, and it is really cool what they're doing. I just didn't get far enough into that game because it is so hard to really see where it goes. So that's an honorable mention for me under narrative. And I didn't have a character. I couldn't think of, like, Leshy probably is a really solid choice there, Thomas. Performance, though, this one, it took me a minute to be like, what am I going to do for performance? Like, no, nothing stood out to me. And then I was like, right. Disco Elysium, the final cut, came out this year. At least I believe it did, from what I've gathered.
I think it did?
I believe so. And they fully voice acted that game. And the narrator, Linval Brown, had never acted before in his life.
Oh,
and
damn.
did 340,000 words of dialogue. And he did a great job.
That's like last year, you were the one who told me that the voice actor for Hades himself, in Hades, had never had a voice acting gig before. And then he did that. Mm-hmm. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the voice actors and stuff in Disco Elysium are musicians for the most part. And he's a London-based musician who literally had never done any of this before and did 340,000 words. So hats off to that gentleman. I saw the article was dated April of this year, saying, "Hey, now that Final Cut is out," which I went, "Oh, so it did come out this year." I just didn't see it on the list of things that came out because it's technically like a re-release. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's a complete. There's so much added to that game and full voice acting. I was like, that counts.
Yeah.
And it's incredible what he was able to accomplish for never having done it.
And most of that was done during the COVID era too. So extra props. It's ridiculous.
Yep. And it's cool because they have musicians that are doing it, so like they know how to get their voice to sound good, and then submit it so it's not just like them recording it on their phone or something,
Right.
Although actors are doing that because phone technology nowadays has evolved to the point where that you can actually do that. So there are some voice actors that do use their phone.
Yeah,
I know some musicians do that too.
Yeah, there are some voice actors for some podcasts I listen to who do that, and I never would have known. So I mean, same now that you've got people with iPhones that or any phone with the camera, that you're just like, what? That's just your phone that's in your pocket all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's accessible. That's what it is.
So it looks like me and Debbie agreed on a couple of these last ones. So my narrative pick was Ministry of Broadcast, and that's because it's basically 1984 the game. And if you're familiar with that, then you might want to get into this reality show of fascism that is Ministry of Broadcast. It's very ultra violent, ultra depressing, and generally just it tells its story in such a good way, with a very intriguing pixel art style that I really felt it. And it was one of those games that has to have a second or third ending, and it did. But you could actually replay that in like 30 seconds, so I went ahead and did it, and it was very satisfying. Because it's basically at the end of the game, you're going to either side with the evildoers, or you're not. You're going to reject it and resist, and that's never a good ending. But it's super fun for the type of story it's telling. It's actually very intriguing and very funny. Debbie, did you end up getting a narrative one?
No, because as I said, I was trying to keep it with like this and last year, like kind of in that sort of zone. And I really
Gotcha.
didn't play any narrative games. Like I don't like single player experiences are games that I prefer to watch rather than play. So I didn't really have anything. I guess I could count the Halo campaign as like a narrative. I don't think it was that good of a narrative to mention in this subject, but I mean, it is a game that I have seen narrative of, so I could put it there, but I'm not going to. So I'm just gonna leave it blank for me there. But I am going to segue that into my performance, which is Jen Taylor for the weapon in the Halo Infinite campaign. Y'all, I don't know. Like, first of all, Jen Taylor is one of my favorite voice actresses anyway, because she was like my favorite portrayal of Princess Peach. So there's that. But I don't know what she put in her tea for this performance of the weapon, because that whole campaign I was like, Cortana who? Cortana what? Cortana when? By the end of the campaign, I ended up retracting that question for reasons. That's all I'm gonna say. But gosh, I was just rooting for her the whole time. I was like, I love the weapon. She ain't even got no name. It's the weapon.
Even for somebody that's been with Jen Taylor for 20 years in games, the fact that she can absolutely pull off Cortana, Dr. Halsey, and the weapon, they're all three clearly different people, even though obviously story choices are like, they're kind of the same person. It's wild. And yeah, I since I originally put Pan Am in the performance, I didn't play Halo campaign at that point. So yes, once you put Jen Taylor, I was like, oh shit, yep, that's absolutely the choice here. Because the weapon is completely different, but still like a cozy character that you wanna protect.
Yes, that was like my whole thing. Throughout the whole campaign, I was just like, I must protect.
Yeah, even though you're called the weapon and you are actually the most useful thing in the universe. Yeah. And that leads into, at least for me, my character was Samus Aran, because if we're gonna go with strong female protagonist, holy shit, this was Samus better than we've ever seen. A lot of people are just like, oh, Zero Suit Samus, she's so hot, but like, no, like she goes through.
She's more than that.
I mean, yeah, but she goes through the full range of what I'd like to say is the Ripley effect. Ellen Ripley from Alien, just her turn into Aliens, just fucking rage, and because she actually is such an homage to Ellen Ripley, literally and figuratively. If you look back into what the developers had said in previous Metroid games and stuff like that, as Ellen Ripley has this whole child situation in Aliens, Samus has that with the baby Metroid. and all these different things come together, and Metroid Dread is Samus's angry phase, and it's fantastic. She really gets to pull off something that we hadn't truly seen, like we always felt was bubbling underneath of her suit. So yeah.
Yeah, I chose her for my character too because, like, all of the things that you said, but also this is also the most relatable that we've ever seen Samus. Like, she's always been kind of like that intimidating sort of figure that like a role model that you would look up to, but to the degree that seemed unattainable. But even though other M trying to like humanize her and failed miserably, Metroid Dread really got the human element of Samus right. Because we're always just used to her being this like almost like an operative weapon, sort of. And not in the same fashion as, the weapon, but like she's just like this cool, calm, collected cucumber of a bounty hunter. But we never really got to see or know Samus. And I think that Metroid Dread really, really put their best foot forward when it came to representing her as a character rather than just like a caricature.
Exactly.
Also, fun fact about Samus, when she was first incepted, there was like an interview about the character designer for her that was like, Samus has a birthmark and only I know where it is. Ha ha ha. And it's always been on her cheek, always, which we found out later, like during her zero suit like renders and everything. I don't know when it actually first appeared like in visual design that we knew. But the way that he was behaving made it seem like it was like on her butt or something. But nope, it was just her little beating mark on her cheek. But he was just like, oh, you never know, I'll never tell. Like, I mean, this is hyperbole. He didn't say it like that, but you know what I mean.
Debbie makes a game and does the same thing. It's like, well.
Mm-hmm. Castillo.
Richard Horvitz is just amazing.
Oh my gosh, chat can't hear me because my cat was meowing super loud, so I muted my mic. Oops.
No.
No, so everybody's gotten a shot at this category. So the community said their favorite narrative is Psychonauts 2 and Deathloop. Favorite character is Raz from Psychonauts. Thank you, chat, by the way. And Anton Castillo from Far Cry 6. And favorite performance was Richard Stephen Horvitz as Raz from Psychonauts 2. And Lord Chrome said Forza Horizon 5, which leads me to believe that he just meant that it runs well, like the performance goes well.
Yes.
I'm going to have to tell him about this later. But let's see. So that was all our character stuff. Here's a fun category. So we've got demos, free-to-play games, and memes up next. So I would like to start this one out because it was a demo. I think it's also free to play, and the whole game is a meme. We watched Carlos during Extra Life play MrClean.exe, and boy, that game sure was technically a video game.
It was something.
There was no soundtrack to that game. There was no real sound at all. It was really unsettling. Carlos, do you want to talk about that masterpiece just briefly?
So I actually looked up the second ending on YouTube because I just didn't know what the fuck was what was I supposed to do. And it is literally one little dialogue thing that you have to force by just like clicking on Mr. Clean for a bit. There is a small bit of audio, and it's both when you splatter the crows as well as when you actually get to the ending. There's a Mr. Clean, like a really gravelly, scary horror song that they made for the game. And yeah, it is a masterpiece when you think about how indie it is. But yeah, it's definitely a free to play game that people should just check out for shits and giggles at the very least.
Yeah, it was real goofy. So you found that on itch.io, right?
Yeah.
There were a lot of choices. Itch.io is like the Wild West of free games. Not everything on there is free, but there are a lot of free things. I would say an honorable mention for me, just somewhere in this category. There's a Friday night, I was on Discord with our mod Stars and Benjaminable. And we all wanted to play something, but we didn't know what we wanted to play, and we didn't want to pay for anything. So we go to the Steam library and we find this game called Muck. And it's technically described as a survival game, but that is the most early access game I've ever played, by far. That game was barely a video game, but we had such a good time playing it because the whole thing was so busted. Just you're running around. I mean, it looks like a game that your 11-year-old cousin might make in 2021. But that was such a funny time. Terrible game. Had a blast playing it. So I'd like to do more of that stuff in the future, and that's part of the reason I wanted to have this free-to-play category. Is because there's so much out there to play for free. Whether it's like Game Pass isn't free, but you get a ton of stuff on it. But there are properly free things everywhere. It's just the quality of those games is dramatically different. So on one hand, you've got MrClean.exe and this Muck game I just mentioned. But on the other side, Halo Infinite's multiplayer is completely free. You don't need a subscription anywhere. You don't even need Game Pass. You just need a system to play it on. So that's wild to me. So honestly, I put Mr. Clean on here, but really Halo Infinite is easily the best free-to-play game, and it's almost not fair because it's such a huge title that it's tough to compare it. It's apples to oranges compared to a lot of other free-to-play games. And then I'll just knock this out. My favorite meme of the year were all the "It's about family, Brian." All those memes, the Vin Diesel memes, the Fast and Furious memes. Man, those had me cracking up, and they lasted for a few weeks where I kept seeing new ones, and I'm just like, surely.
I mean, it's because it took over Nerd Meets Life, so
yeah, it did.
Very easily.
I can't believe I didn't get tired of those. I just kept seeing new ones, and I was just losing it. But I enjoyed that. Get through the year with memes, baby. But how about you guys? We got all these meme categories. That's what these are.
I'll run through mine real quick. Demos. I really enjoyed my demo time with Road 96. I still have not played that game at all, but the demo was a good time. I enjoyed it very much. Mm-hmm. Free to play game. Halo Infinite, very good choice as well. I always forget that that's what that is. It's free to play. But mine is MTG Arena. I got into that semi-recently, and they give you a whole lot of stuff for free. So that's it's very fun. If you like card games or you like Magic the Gathering, that's a good one. Memes, I didn't think of one until just now. AEW Wrestling, they've been having this sign thing happen where people are writing like video game thoughts down on signs and holding them up, and they will get caught on camera. A lot of them are like remake Super Mario and the 7 Stars or whatever, you cowards, like that like those kind of things, like or it'll be like I don't know, Dragon Warrior is clearly better than Persona, or like, you know what I mean, like stuff like that, just like video game hot takes that then end up making the rounds on Twitter and stuff that are being held up by wrestling fans at wrestling shows. It's hilarious. The first one I saw, I was like, I cannot believe that. I think I sent it to the group. I was like, you guys got to see this. Yeah, that'd be my meme.
This when I Googled funny AEW signs, because I know what you're talking about. I knew I'd find something.
Yeah.
This one is the worst Fire Emblem game is better than the best Paper Mario.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man, somebody's about to fight.
Those are fighting words.
It's really good.
But they're not wrong fighting words, but I still want to throw some hands. Like,
it's really funny.
Why would you say something so controversial and so brave? for my category here, I have demos. I recently had the great fortune of playing in the Multiverses demo, which for the uninitiated is the Warner Brothers platform fighter, quote unquote Smash clone, because people don't understand the term genre platform fighter. And y'all, this game might be the Smash killer that people are looking for. Because I only had a couple of hours with it, but y'all know how I like get addicted to games like really easily and then throw my whole soul into it and then also just never am seen again for like a month.
Wait, which one of us are you talking about?
I'm just gonna actually I'm gonna Tron into the game. That's how much. That's how good it is.
Dude, that's
which
fun.
Are you gonna be? That's the question.
So I can't say because the NDA. I'm not even sure if I can even talk about the fact that I played in the demo, but like the NDA is like if you go check my tweets, I've been kind of circumventing it with like with
best choice name versions of things.
Yeah. Like your Halloween costume. So far I've really been enjoying Faceless Girl from Wolf House. She sure is something. That's all I can say. Yeah. But y'all, when this game comes out, I'm actually gonna be keeping on a lookout for like the next session. Because hopefully they'll do one of those things where it's like, play with your friends, here's some codes. I can like get some people in there. Because this game, oh god. It's so good. The combat system and other systems that they have that I don't think I can mention. I'm sorry I can't talk about it more because I want to so bad, but it's so good. So that's my demo. Category is Multiverses. Free to play. I'm gonna just throw it out there. Century Age of Ashes. Please. It's free to play. Pick it up. It's How to Train Your Dragon, but violent. Like
but violent.
I don't know what more I could say about Century of Ashes that hasn't been expressed already, but it's a lot of fun. They're always coming out with new content. Like I said, they came out with that new mode, and it's just gorgeous.
It's just fun to. It's like watching the Spider-Man games. I don't even care what's going on in the missions. I mean, the missions in Spider-Man are great, so don't sleep on those. But just watching Lizzie zip around the city, I'm like, man, I'm just cool with this. Like, I'm just cool with watching you jump off buildings and fly around and do flips and shit. Like, that's cool with me. Watching you fly around on the dragons, I'm like, I don't know what the objectives are, but this looks great. I'm here for it.
And like, it's really the music in it is really intense too. Like the very first time I played, and like the end of round music was like welling up and stuff. I was like, oh my god, my heart! It's beating so fast. Like I felt like I was watching an action movie, like a Marvel movie. It was that level of like palpitations. So like it can get really intense, and all that for free.
Heck yeah.
That's right.
And then memes. I didn't have anything written down, but I was talking in chat earlier with Odysseus, and I was reminded of the Animal Crossing and Doom fusion memes, where like Isabelle and Doom Guy were all hanging out all the time because they were being released on the same day, and they were just so much fun. Just that whole era of cute little sweet little innocent Isabelle, but like in hell, like with her machine gun, and then Doom Guy, but like in pastoral, bucolic Animal Crossing. Like it was such a good time.
It was. My quick ones, nothing much on the memes, but my banner, if anybody's seen my Twitter banner, it's woman too angry to die. It's just a really funny screenshot of Samus, and it's really apt if you finish the game. So not going into it further on that one. Demos, I put Unsighted. Unsighted is one of the best games that a lot of people haven't played yet this year. It recently came out. It hit Game Pass, so definitely check it out. But the demo on Switch was like 2 or 3 hours long. I played it for 2.5 hours, and I wasn't finished with it. So just one of those demos that really hit me because, like, am I going to be able to play the entire game? Maybe. And of course, free-to-play games, Halo Infinite, because I am not going to stop playing that ever. So there we go.
No, Road 96 was a good one. I watched you demo that. I watched Demo Duo play it. And then there were at least 2 other people, the Mad Bomber and someone else. I watched each of them play Road 96 at different places, like some people at the very beginning, some people a couple hours in. And the fact that game has all these branching narratives. If you do this, then that happens. But after you play for a while and you know a character a little bit better, something different might happen. That was really a joy to watch. That was, just a nice game to spectate because I got to basically see a different game each time I watched. Like I would see familiar characters, but different stuff was happening each time. I appreciated that. Let's see, what else do we have? I think that's everything, huh?
I think so.
Okay, so demo free-to-play memes. Let's see. Chat said nothing for demos, but for free-to-play, Halo Infinite, Magic the Gathering Arena. And for memes, Josephied said Deep Rock Galactic. He shared one about the loot bugs that, Carlos, like you, when I first saw it, I was like, what am I looking at? And then once he said it, I'm just like, oh, right. From Deep Rock Galactic, where the characters are all memes. They're constantly yelling out goofy dwarven shit. Rock and stone!
Yeah.
Let's see. So next we've got debut game, indie game, and VR gamer experience. I'm just going to keep this simple.
I want to throw mine in because I only have one for this whole category because I didn't really understand debut game and I don't really play a lot of indie games, so I didn't have anything for that one. My VR experience nomination, pick is Space Pirate Trainer. It's a very classic arcade shooter wherein you are a space pirate and it's training you. So hence the title. And you have different tools at your disposal, which you can access by, like there's a shield on your back that you actually like pull your shield out, which then also turns into a lightning morning star, I guess is the easiest way to describe it. It's like a whip, but like with a electric ball of spikes at the end or whatever, which you can use to like bash all the bots and stuff. But the real draw is that when you move, like your actual movements in real life influence your movements in the game. So like you're being barraged by all these, space robots, and you can actually like either reflect their bullets with the shield or with the baton end of the electric whip, or you can physically dodge the bullets, which depending on where you are is the more dangerous option. But if you're careful, you should be fine. But you enter like this bullet time slow-mo kind of state whenever you're dodging, and it feels so satisfying. And the music is pretty bitchin'. Like it's like very 80s synthy techno. Super duper cool classic arcade shooter, Space Pirate Trainer. And it's available on all VR platforms, I'm pretty sure. Like Beat Saber, I would have said Beat Saber if Facebook didn't own Beat Saber and therein like rob other people of being able to play it unless they specifically have an Oculus. Otherwise, I would have made that my pick, but I wanted to pick something that anybody could play regardless of what platform they had. So, Space Pirate Trainer. That's it.
Mine's easy. It's two that I've already mentioned for debut. Inscription's really my favorite, but Carrion as well. Those are both games that it's a debut, right? So it's the first of its IP. It's not a sequel or an existing franchise. So yeah, both Inscription and Carrion are both very unique, and I'm really hoping for a Carrion 2. It seems like they have to come out with the second one. I don't see how they wouldn't. But I definitely want to see that. Indie game, I mean, it's the same thing for me. And then for VR, I barely played any VR this year, but it's probably back to Beat Saber, honestly. Beat Saber or Super Hot. Played those a little bit at the beginning of the year. Quality stuff.
If you like Super Hot, actually, since because you like Beat Saber and Super Hot, I think you would like a game called Pistol Whip, which is basically a love child of the two.
Yep, I've seen that. I know I would like that. I just need to get in a place that's big enough to support VR Kid.
Yep.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I just realized that I wrote Inscription for debut game, and Daniel Mullins has released 2 games before Inscription, so I cannot put it as a debut game. So I'm putting Kena Bridge of Spirits in there. Debut from Ember Lab. Real good. Fantastic stuff. Indie game, I went ahead and did Death's Door. That game is fantastic. That was like before I beat Inscription. That was, I think, the only game I actually finished this year.
Yeah.
So that's going for me. And then VR gaming experience. This is one that I got the PlayStation VR last year, around Christmas time, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember. But one that family and I always go back to is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
So good. Such a good game.
That game rules. I also get very, angry about it as well.
Yeah.
It's like I'll start yelling at people like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make any sense. What are you saying? Try to say the thing you're trying to say. Because it's
Just
not
read the instructions.
Right.
Yeah, it's a game that you have to be a pretty good communicator in order to get through. And if you're not, well, it's tough.
You explode.
You explode. You blow up. So those are mine.
All right. My debut game is Sable, and that's because Shedworks is the developer, and it's 2 people. So they put out a whole lot of work into making that beautiful world. And VR game, I didn't really have one. Indie game though, Space Warlord Organ Trader Simulator. Fantastic.
I had to keep looking up if that was the actual name, because I was like, it's a bunch of these words. I don't know which ones are real or which ones I made up.
Yeah. All you Game Passers, I'm going to continue talking about this one just like you guys are with Inscription until I play through the 7th ending. It's super good. It's really just all about what it's like to be a trader in the stock market in real life, assumedly, but way funnier. And it's organs and alien organs, and one of the traders that you actually have to actively fight against is a dog. So if you want an incredibly funny game that's just so much writing, it's really just incredibly fast point and click gameplay. Try it out. It's on Game Pass. Just do it, and it's super quick. It's not easy, but it's over with pretty soon.
Title of a sex tape?
That if that's everybody, I think, right? So debut, indie, and VR. Let's see. Debut, the community said Forgotten City. For indie, we got Deep Rock Galactic, and for VR, we got Beat Saber. Solid.
Forgotten City is a good shot. I've heard that's really good.
So we're gonna keep scooting forward. I know, Carlos, you're trying to go see Spider-Man, so I gotta scoot here.
Yeah, you do.
Let's see. Influential game, accessible game, and strides towards accessibility and representation. So Carlos, you're king of this category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll bust through these real fast. Accessible game, Halo Infinite. I heard that Forza had a lot of options on accessibility, but I didn't play it actually. So Halo Infinite for me does have just a wild array of things that you can change in settings, no matter what you're feeling. If you're sucking, then go into the settings. You might find something that works out for you completely different if you just go in there. Influential game. It's a funny one because I finally played Axiom Verge this year, completed it, and it just so happens to be one of the most influential games in the Metroidvania genre, and that's why it's on this part of the list for me. And then representation and strides toward representation is Boyfriend Dungeon, because I've talked about the game plenty, but you are not only dealing with a whole different kind of cast of characters that you've not really gotten to see in many games before, but you're interacting with them and making a whole lot of choices narratively. That's just really refreshing. And I mean, when a game tries as hard as it does to be representative of a lot of communities, whether that's orientation or anything like that, really, it's just it was really impactful this year, and it also had a whole lot of conversations that it started, which I could definitely get into later.
Yeah, I'd say Halo Infinite as well. There were a ton of accessibility options, and as soon as the game came out, Steve Taylor, the blind gamer, I am so
Taylor.
Steve Saylor. Okay, I mix his name up with Steven Spawn. So Steve Saylor did a video on the accessibility for him as a mostly blind gamer, for all of the different things in there that, like the customization settings, whether it's the way things look, the way things sound, you can mess with your field of view, little things like when you sprint, you can see the whizzing of the wind by you to show you that you're sprinting. A bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, Halo has a whole lot of options in it. Even today when I was playing, I found a new option that I hadn't used before that's going to make it a lot easier for me to play. I can't remember when I played The Last of Us 2. I don't remember if that was earlier this year or a year and a half ago, honestly. It was sometime during the pandemic. But that's a game that got a lot of praise for its accessibility options. There's a ton, more than any game I think I've ever played. So that was a really good one too. Yeah, and I'm really excited to jump into Deathloop because, yeah, those two main characters, man, dripping with personality. I can't wait to hear more of that. But it's nice to...
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just nice to have, like, two protagonists that don't feel like token characters, but they also, like, they feel actually unique in a whole bunch of ways, and like they deserve praise not just because they're like not just white men all the time. We've had a lot of stuff lately, whether it's like Arcane on Netflix, or this, or Deathloop, but a lot of things that are like, when you have such a high bar of quality for the content that you're making, you get rid of the idea that that you're being inclusive just to be inclusive. Instead, it feels like the best person got the job because they're clearly kicking ass. Like, they're doing a great job, because the quality is so high. So like it does justice to the people involved because the overall quality is nice. And it's really nice to see a lot of things in the gaming sphere doing that more and more and more. So we're not just talking about like one thing that's really good. We're talking about a lot of things that are really good, with representation and accessibility. Yeah, we've seen a lot of that in the past couple of years. So I'm excited to play more of Deathloop because, like I said, I'm only a few hours in.
Yeah, I was the only one I had for this grouping was Deathloop, specifically for strides towards accessibility and representation. The two POC leads, like that's a it doesn't seem like that's a big deal, but it's a big deal. You know, like it shouldn't be like as rare as it is, but it's really cool that they did that, and the game's awesome too. So,
well, wasn't it designed by people of color? Like, I remember watching the award ceremony night, and they went up there to accept the reward, and I was like, oh, it was designed by people of color.
The lead director, from Arcane Studios.
Yeah, the whole Arcane team is very representative of a wide variety of cultures. They're pretty amazing. It's like the good things that would come out of something like Ubisoft Montreal. It's the culture behind it. Technically, is really fantastic what they brought together at Arcane. Looks good for Xbox.
That's all I gotta say. I just wish Twitch didn't drop the ball when it came to the marketing for the game, but that's a whole nother story for maybe not another time, actually, because I'm still mad about it. I don't want to.
You're like, wait.
Do you want to talk about Knockout City?
I do. The reason I have chosen Knockout City is because, first of all, it's done by Velan Studios, which is like a very small studio. Their only other game that they had ever made or worked on was the Mario Kart real life one. What's it called? Live tour? I can't remember what it's called.
Home Circuit or something.
Home Circuit, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. But that was their previous endeavor, and now they have this one, Knockout City. But the thing about Knockout City is that you could literally be whoever you want in that. You can be like whatever skin tone, any clothes that you want to wear. They're not bound by presentation. So like masculine, feminine, like none of those, any kind of nomenclatures. None of that is bound to your body type or anything like that. There's multiple body types. And they have profile pictures that are like all of the different orientation flags, all of the different, they have like a whole bunch of like Black Lives Matter movement flags and stuff in there. They make a really, really pointed effort to uplift marginalized voices and perspectives. And to me, that's one of the reasons I was so drawn to it, was because of that. You could really, really represent yourself however you want in that game, and it actively encourages it. So that's why I chose it for strides towards accessibility representation.
Mhm.
Bet. So let's see. We've got the community answers. Influential game we heard was Quake. That somebody played this year, and then for strides towards representation was Ghost of Tsushima, which I know got a lot of press last year for its accurate representation of the actual island and history of Tsushima.
Right.
Which is really cool. There's that, and Carlos, there was a game that came out a while ago that had like somewhere in, I think, Eastern Asia, whatever game it was, like it actually approached the culture where this had taken place, like this remote place, and gotten feedback on the game. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Because you were the one who told me.
I think you're talking about Never Alone, but that's the exact same thing that happened with Tsushima. The actual place recognized Sucker Punch for their efforts, and that's outstanding. But yeah,
it's Ghost of Tsushima was a Sucker Punch game.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
That's a beautiful game.
They actually got recognized by the place. They actually went over there and accepted an award for it, and it's amazing.
Oh,
yeah, that's super cool. So let's see what's next. We've got role-playing game, simulation strategy, and slow burner endless. Let's say the slow burner endless. So this is very similar to me for my comfort food game. So what I wrote down here is Slay the Spire, with an honorable mention of Don't Starve. Maybe Don't Starve should go here. I don't know. Later we have Comfort Food, and the trouble with Don't Starve is that is not a relaxing game. It's a fun game, but it's not relaxing at all. The whole time you're just trying not to die. You're constantly on your way towards dying. But I've played a bunch of that over the past few years and picked it up a lot over the pandemic. But Slay the Spire, I've played Slay the Spire. If you just counted like how many days of the year that I've played it, it's my most played game this year. I just keep coming back to it. I keep trying new things. I keep discovering combinations of cards that I've never seen before. Slay the Spire is the card game that got me into those kinds of card games. Like I played Hearthstone. But as far as a roguelike, Slay the Spire was the original, and it continues to hold up the test of time, even with no additional content. Yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I told you I picked up FTL, Faster Than Light, a couple weeks ago, and I lost an entire week of time. I just played. I don't even want to look up the hours I spent during 1 week playing that. But again, it's a roguelike. Roguelikes and survival games are my favorite genres. So as far as endless games go, they take the cake, but I love that genre. And anytime anybody's got recommendations, hit me up.
Yeah, for sure. My role-playing game that I played this year was Yakuza Like a Dragon. I believe that came out on Game Pass during like some event this year. And so I played that. It was very good. I didn't finish it. There's so much to do in that game, but it was really good the time that I spent with it. Simulation or strategy, I put Inscription. There is a strategy to that game. And I very much enjoyed it. What else do we have? Slow burner / endless. I have Curse of the Dead Gods, which is a really fun roguelike style game that's, I'm sure there is an actual end to it, but I'm not sure exactly what that entails. But it's one of those just keep going on runs kind of game. And it's really good. It came out this year. I feel like it just was kind of not talked about enough, but it is a really good one of those. If you have played Hades and you're like, I want something like that, you should play Curse of the Dead Gods. It's also on Game Pass. So, you know, hooray, Game Pass.
I've got, let me see where we at. The role playing. Okay, yeah. I have, for my role playing game, I have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, which is only very loosely a role playing game. It's more of a monster tamer than anything. But that's the one that I have for this category, just because it's the one that I've been playing a lot recently. Like my Nintendo stats came out or whatever, and because they send you like basically like a Spotify wrap. Every year of the games that you've been playing, how long you've been playing, and everything. And Shining Pearl only came out toward the end of last month, and it's already in my top 3 played video games of the year on Nintendo.
Oh wow!
So that's how much. Like, it's all of my gaming for November and all of my gaming for December. That's how much I've been playing it. So I was, I have to put this here. There's no other way. There's no other game that I could put here. So I have Pokemon Shining Pearl for that. Strategy games I don't really play. I kind of thought about putting Pokemon Unite here because technically, since it is a MOBA, it is a strategy game. But then I thought more like turn-based strategy games like Fire Emblem or Into the Breach or things like that. So I put Faster Than Light here, FTL. So, I mean, for no other reason than it's a really good game. Like, you can keep coming back to it. It's a nice strategy game to play and one you can AFK to, as I said earlier.
Dude, that game came out in 2012, but if you told me it came out this year, I'd believe you. Like,
it's timeless.
Yeah, it's good.
Into the Breach, on the other hand.
Yeah, I like that game. Since Into the Breach was made second, I was nervous going back to FTL because I just thought it would be a worse version, right? It's not. It's not. They're very similar in a lot of ways, but Into the Breach is more like chess, where FTL just that slow burn of slow burns. Like that game, solid, and it's exciting too. It's a lot more actiony than Into the Breach, that's for sure.
I hate to do this, y'all, but we have like 15 minutes left, so we really gotta push through these last few categories pretty quickly.
We're almost done. I think we're almost done.
Okay.
For my slow burner, I did originally have Slay the Spire, but then I changed it to Risk of Rain 2 because that's a game that I've actually played. Because I just watched Bowser play Slay the Spire. So I know everything about like the narrative and the story and the heart and all the characters and all that whatnot. But I don't really have a connection to it like I do Risk of Rain 2. And an honorable mention for that I would have is Spelunky. Because while I haven't played Spelunky 2, I've watched it play it, and the way that it recreates the Spelunky experience while also providing something new is really good. It's like spot on. Even though we waited so long for Spelunky 2, it was definitely worth it.
I like that one.
That's all.
Chris, how about you?
I already did mine.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So, minor, super quick. For Sim and Strategy, I played just about 20 hours of Wargroove this year after playing 100 before, so I think everybody should at this point know my love of Wargroove. Role-playing game, Tales of Arise. I have yet to complete it, so Steve can keep ribbing me for not really saying anything else about the game, besides that it's about civil war of sorts and slavery. So,
and it's fun
but
to play.
when I do finish it, I will tell you guys about everything and exactly why I love it. But it's gonna be perfect. And I did not play an endless game because fuck that shit. I play a lot of games.
Yeah, you play.
I don't think your backlog could take it.
Oh my gosh,
No.
it's like March and Carlos is like, all right, I've only completed 18 games. I gotta pick up the pace to reach my goal. I'm like, excuse me? If I beat 2 games this year, I'll be happy.
I'm only at like 33 right now, so I gotta step that shit up.
Oh Lord.
You got about 15 days. Let's see. So what did the community say? Divinity Original Sin is the community's favorite role-playing game. And we didn't hear a whole lot of input on this other stuff, but I know Mr. Jerp is playing Slay the Spire just like I am. We talk about it in Discord on a regular basis. But next, so we've got the category to itself, our favorite gaming moments and memories from the year. Carlos, you want to start this one?
Yeah, mine's a quick and easy one as well. We saw this on the Extra Life stream of Among Us, but Benjaminable winning the Among Us game despite me being sussed real hard and getting stuck on the fucking ladder 3 or 4 separate times as an imposter. That was a giant win for me and for Benjaminable.
I still don't know how he pulled that off.
Man.
Well, actually, I do, because Bowser. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, he failed you on that one, but it was great.
That was the whole Extra Life weekend was an absolute blast. It
was really great.
This is a reminder, everybody, especially thanks to Bat's help after Extra Life weekend, we hit $2,500 raised over the course of the week, which is so exciting. We had a ton of people involved in that stream. I wish I had the whole list in front of me because I know I'll forget people, but a lot of you are in here in chat right now, and we really appreciate that. Like
Yes, absolutely.
That's over double what we raised last year. That's wild. But we had a lot of great moments during that week. Benson, he paid the Extra Life incentive to get me to play Satisfactory and then bought me the game and sent it to me to ensure that I would play it. And I enjoyed it so much that now Odysseus, Benjaminable, and some other people, we've all jumped in and spent some hours in it. There are so many different things I could say here, but what I'm going to say is I have loved spending time with everybody on Discord this year. Especially since not just the pandemic, but I moved across the country this year. And so if it wasn't for the internet, I just wouldn't really be talking to anybody. I'd talk to you guys, once a week on the podcast and in our group chat, but to be able to jump into Discord and just hang out and watch other people play. Maybe there are 5 people in chat and we're all playing different games and we're all just chilling, doing our own thing. In the past week, multiple times we've had almost like 10-ish people. We had I think we had over 10 people on a Tuesday night this week. And that's been so much fun, just spending time with people, just having people drop in and out whenever they want. Really, it's been really great for me because, like I said, I just haven't had a lot of people. I don't see anybody but Lizzie all day. So it's been so great.
I'm telling.
Yeah.
Lizzie. God.
So it's been really nice to be able to very casually talk to people from so far away. So really, so many of my favorite moments this year have been in Discord with all of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, my favorite moment comes from all of us being together too, which is we were watching the Game Awards last Thursday, and It Takes Two somehow won Game of the Year.
Not a better game than Inscription.
You could hear the entire world just gasp and throw their hands up, like, what? Like it was such
a. Carlos is
like that's the Game Awards. Bye.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it like an upset because obviously it has meritable merits, but like
there are better games.
Huh?
Yeah.
So that was like everyone, like, just seeing the reaction on Twitter and everything too. It was just so good. That's my favorite. That was my favorite moment.
Similar to that, in June we watched E3 together. We didn't do a Twitch thing for it, but we had Discord popping for it, and that was so much fun. That's the biggest E3 watch party I've been a part of, and it was an absolute blast. That's like those 2 award shows this year are the most fun I've ever had watching award shows, and I've had some fun times doing that.
Yeah. My gaming moments / memories are about a little game called Inscription. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. We haven't talked about it at all so far.
Yeah.
Basically, all the big spoilery moments of this, and being able to talk to people about them, and like just having, like, watching you, Thomas, like, go through some of the big changes in the game, from section to section, and watching you do that and seeing your reaction, and vice versa, the other way around, when you and Odysseus would be watching me play it. That game's real special and had some moments that were very. I can't spoil the game, so anyway, play that game. It rules. Yeah.
Your favorite part was when redacted happened to redacted.
Redacted happened to redacted in the redacted section of the redacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Carlos?
I did mine. So
oh my gosh,
We already did that one.
You're right. Sorry, my brain.
We gotta do the community.
My brain is
10
mush.
minutes.
Let's see. Favorite moment. Josh Hyde said he's one of the favorite moments of the year is solidarity against Activision Blizzard and all the total bullshit happening within that company.
Yes.
It's been nice to see. I mean, I'm now elaborating on what he said, but it's been really nice to see actual movement towards change instead of just a flash in the pan where everybody's mad for about a week and then find something new to be mad about. It is nice to have everybody on the same side of this and continue pushing and seeing some sort of result from that. There are too many times in the games industry and the world at large, people just get really excited, they get really passionate for a short amount of time, and then they forget, and then nothing happens, and then the world moves on. So it has been nice to see tangible change. And it's not over yet, but it's been nice to see solidarity. I can agree with him on that front. Next category is competitive multiplayer, which can be anything. I mean, mine has got to be, if it's competitive multiplayer, it's Halo Infinite, without a doubt. That first week that came out, I put a stupid amount of hours in there. I mean, the moment that press conference said Halo was live, Mr. Jerp and I had the game downloading. We were in there minute one. That was a really fun time.
Yeah, I'd say mine's either Halo or Rogue Company.
Yeah, Rogue Company's a good pick. I just put Sentry because I mean Halo was an obvious choice, but I've been having a lot of fun playing competitive Sentry as well. It's surprisingly in depth.
Yeah, I'll end up playing that with you at some point, but Halo is Infinite for me as well.
The only thing that stopped me from putting Halo Infinite as well is that ranked right now, if you do the crossplay, is just drowning in controller players that have the most immaculate aim assist, super duper bullet magic system in the world.
But in ranked, you can choose.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Cool.
But everyone only ever cares about crossplay rank. So.
Rip.
I'll get over it. I will. I promise.
And the community said Halo.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of us in there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So then our last couple categories, or our last few coming up, we've got content creators, games adjacent content, and community support. So my favorite games adjacent content was I finally started watching NoClip. NoClip is Danny O'Dwyer, who I knew from Giant Bomb. Technically, he's there now, but he really was at GameSpot for a long time.
GameSpot, yeah.
And he was a guest on Giant Bomb content. Well, he is a wonderful dude in a lot of ways, very intelligent. And the NoClip documentaries they were some of the first highly credible, highly researched video game documentaries that you could find, that I certainly found on YouTube. So I finally started to watch those, even though they've been out for 5 years now. They've been out for a while. I watched one on Prey earlier this year that has that game way up my list now. It seems like that game didn't get the attention, certainly that it deserves, not for me. So I would like to play that, and I wouldn't have known about that if it wasn't for him. I also watched one on Chivalry 2, which has me hyped to check that game out. But yeah, NoClip is a wonderful YouTube channel, and y'all should check it out.
Yeah, NoClip is fantastic. Danny O'Dwyer, fantastic. Yeah, I think you watched the Prey one this year, Thomas. It was really good. They did ones on Hitman that were very good, all leading up until the Hitman 3 release. It was really good. My gaming adjacent content is MinMax. They are a group of people that came over from Game Informer. When Game Informer started doing a bunch of layoffs, they started their own little company called MinMax. It's MINN-MAX. They are fantastic. Love those people. Podcasts, shows. They do this fantastic show called The Deepest Dive, which they'll pick a game and try to have the most thorough discussion on the internet about it with their community and with the people that are there with them. They're diving into Halo Infinite right now. So if you want to hear everything there is to hear about Halo Infinite, that's where you go. And they do a lot of really fun stuff with those deepest dives of making sure everybody stops at the same exact time. It's almost like a book club. Like stop when you get to here, and then we watch this discussion. And I watched it for Cyberpunk, which was really great because I got to hear about a lot of the other things that I didn't get to see in that game through that way.
And what's nice about that too, because it's a book club, if you know where the start and stop points are, like when I play Cyberpunk, I could go back to that, and even though that was a year ago, I could still participate in my own time and then go and listen to the book club for that section, where a lot of games coverage is like very much in the moment as the whole world's discovering it. That's nice that content can be enjoyed after the fact as well.
Carlos, what time is your showing of Spider-Man?
10 o'clock. But it's inching ever closer.
Yes, it sure is.
I don't have anything for these categories because I couldn't bear to have people, I couldn't choose any favorites. I didn't want to sick people against each other, Also, I didn't want the answer to end up just being us because I'm very biased in that way. So I don't have anything for these categories, but I will say for gaming adjacent, I almost put down G4 since it's back now on YouTube and Twitch. Monday through Friday, they're doing their streaming like an actual show. But I haven't watched enough of it yet to gauge how I properly feel about it, so I didn't. But honorable mention, I guess?
Yeah, I can't tell if I still like Adam Sessler or not, or if that was just a thing when I was younger.
I think he's like Mark Hamill. As long as you keep him in a narrow focus and don't listen to a lot of his fringe opinions, then he's the guy you remember.
Well, it's just like his edits on his reviews and stuff right now. I'm like, that's not really that funny. Those kind of things. But
yeah. And just a heads up on that, I found Philo TV the other day. It's another streaming service, and XPlay is one of the channels, or G4 is one of the channels that they have on there.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to check out something like that, Philo has like a 30-day trial. So, but for my games adjacent content, I put But Why Though, a geek community, and that is headed up by our lovely podcast guest, Kate Sanchez, who does some really outstanding review work. Recently joined, I'm going to forget, I completely forget the review, the certified review board that she joined, but
like CVAs or whatever.
Yeah. But she's definitely moving up in the world of criticism, and so definitely But Why Though is looking up and up. I really enjoy reading they've got tons of stuff on anime and movies as well as games. Lots of great discussion, and their Discord is usually pretty poppin' too. For community support, just a quick one, but a very valuable one to me. Look up Mxiety. That's MXIETY. She does a lot on Twitter, but she has a really great Twitch stream as well that she has pretty often that is all about advocating for mental health. If you check out her stuff, it's very clear what she's trying to do, and she's a very helpful person that is in a whole lot of accessibility communities as well. Just generally a really good positive force out there that provides something that you really don't see enough of in the gaming industry. So check her out. And then as far as content creators, I put our very own Demo Duo because I love watching Cram and Doppel play the games that they do, and they play just as many games as I do. So they're like, we rated somebody the other day, and she's like, "Wow, you guys are true variety streamers." So it was really funny because she couldn't pin down exactly who they were. It's like, yeah, that whenever your whole point is to try new things and let your community make those choices for you, it's a really great thing. And their personalities are fantastic as well, and they butt heads as appropriately as they should. It's a really fun time to be in their chat.
Yeah, you can tell that they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
I looked up to the organization Kate just was inducted into, and it is the HCA, the Hollywood Critics Association. So congrats on that, Kate. Yay.
Fantastic.
My winner for content creator is Stream Noodles. I think he was my number one watched on my Twitch Wrapped, I want to say. Regardless of what those stats say, I feel like I've had Stream Noodles up on my monitor a lot this year. And Stream Noodles is somebody that Lizzie and I both like to watch and tune into. Just very upbeat, constructive all the time. Plays a bunch of, like a wide variety of games, whether it's like nostalgia ones like Ocarina of Time, or he played a game called Fran Bow that I had never heard of, but a lot of other people recognized it. It's a point-and-click game from some number of years ago. And it's stuff like that that I get to see these things I never would have seen otherwise, or whatever. It's just like a comfort stream. Anytime I tune in, it's so inviting. It's always good vibes, and I really appreciate that. Also, Stream Noodles has been tremendously helpful on helping me learn how to use OBS Studio. Like, I still have a lot to learn, but every time that I've had trouble, he has been right there offering to help. And anytime anybody says something on our Facebook group or in our Discord, he's right there ready to offer a solution. Like, he's always got an answer, or he's able to point you to where you can find an answer. But I really appreciate all the help he's offered to everyone. Stream_noodles. Go follow him.
Hey,
let's see.
The little heart thing.
And
looks like we're on our last category now.
We've got our last set before our favorite of the year. So we've got ongoing game and comfort food game. Ongoing game, I mean, I don't know what I'm even playing that's ongoing. I guess Don't Starve is my winner. They do keep coming out with new stuff.
You never stop playing, so.
Yeah, and that game came out like 7 years ago as well. And they just keep releasing new stuff, especially on the PC version. So I guess my answer is Don't Starve there. But my comfort food game is actually Stardew Valley. I picked that up again. We picked that up about earlier this year sometime on Switch because it has multiplayer. Lizzie and I have each put 100 hours into the Stardew mobile game years ago, but it doesn't have multiplayer. So we wanted to play with each other and our friend Christina. So we bought it on Switch and we booted up a farm. So I've been playing that with and without them. And man, that game just doesn't get old. Even though I've played the beginning of that game 3 times now, I'm just loving it. It's just really nice to vibe to the music and sit on the couch next to each other and play, or I'll put it up on the TV and Lizzie will watch. And yeah, that's the ultimate comfort game, because where Don't Starve is trying to kill you all the time, Stardew's like, yo, if you just want to AFK and just like watch the world go by, do it. Great. That's the way you can play that.
For me, ongoing game, I have Rogue Company. They actually just came out with a new season, which came out with a new mode, which is a battle royale mode, because not enough games have those.
Wow.
But I'm excited to try it out, because I mean, when they added it to Apex, it was like a huge hit. They added basically Rogue Company to Apex, not the other way around. But I'm eager to try it out because this is a really good character set. I'm interested to see how the powers and stuff are all balanced for battle royale, because Rogue Company is very much an objective-based game. So if you take that away, then what do you have? So I'm intrigued.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I have for my ongoing game, even though I haven't played it in a while. But moving on to that comfort game, I have Pokemon. Originally, I would have put Animal Crossing, but I haven't touched that in forever, so I can't really call it my comfort food game, because a comfort food game is a game that you go to for comfort when you want to, like, you play it. You continue to play it when you want to feel good. And lately, Shining Pearl has been that. I'll wake up, I'll have my breakfast, I'll have my morning tea or whatever. I'll throw on some background noise and I'll be playing Shining Pearl. If I'm upset, I'll do some cleaning. I'll play some Shining Pearl. When I'm hungry, I'll grab some dinner. I'll play some Shining Pearl. So that's my pick for that. It was hands down like the easiest choice.
Yeah, I didn't put an ongoing game in here, but yeah, Rogue Company would probably be that for me. And then comfort food game is sports games. I play every sports game every year, and it's the one that is in between my big like the big games I'm playing. Like if I'm playing like Inscription or whatever, Death's Door, whenever I'm like, I need a break from this, I'm most likely going over to a sports game to play that and chew up some time.
Your comfort food game is Sweaty Game.
Sweaty game boys.
Simulator 2021.
My comfort game was Wilmot's Warehouse. After we discovered that, it's so chill despite being what you think is an anxiety-based game. But it's super chill. The environment, the music, it's just fantastic. It's very accessible. Yeah, everything's a bop. Definitely try that out. And ongoing game, I already said that there were 7 endings, but you technically don't have to end Space Warlord Organ Trader Simulator. You could play that game for forever. There's certain cargo holds that you can purchase if you make enough money to basically just become OP in the game. And I ended up playing like 4 hours the other day on release because I just wanted to make as much money as I could, and I didn't even reach the 3rd level of cargo hold, which I think there's like 10 levels that you can buy. So technically, you might actually have to play for at least 10 hours just to get the most optimal loadout, basically. So, yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of Space Warlord Organ Trader Simulator Hyper Ultra Mega Pocket Gold Alpha Pocket Edition EX3 Turbo and Knuckles and Watch Junior until tonight.
Incredibly funny.
I have to look it up.
Incredibly funny, and you've got to be quick on reading and pointing and clicking. That's the name of the game. It's hard.
I mean, the name of the game's a lot longer than that, but I see what you're saying.
Let's get to the favorites.
Well, community.
We gotta.
Actually,
we gotta hurry up, guys.
we literally have one left. We don't have any community input on that one actually because well, for a few different reasons, but nothing from the community from that one. But last we've got favorite of the year. So I've already said everything I'm going to say about this game. So mine's Inscription. Inscription made me feel some kind of way. I know. But I watched Odysseus play that for 50 for a zillion hours, right? And I think I'm gonna go back.
You might have watched it for 50. You never know.
I did watch it for a whole lot, so I'm probably gonna go and beat the game again in the next month or two. So yeah, if you like any of the things I've said about that game, please just play it now, or I'll drop a link in chat. You should go to, and it's a fun website you can poke around. So do that instead.
Yeah.
Mine is Pokemon Shining Pearl. I mean, I don't. It's the most obvious pick for me because it's the most for the last 2 months. It's all I've played.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily surpassed any of the other games that I started playing this year in hourage already. Like I beat the champion the other day and I clocked in at 200 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's been out for 2 months.
I said what I said.
I said what I says what I says.
If y'all are playing Pokemon out there too, please let me know. I got you. Let's play together. Please. I need more people to play with. I just need more people. So I love this game. It's so good. Okay, that's all. Pokemon.
Carlos, go for it.
Mine is Metroid Dread, just because it didn't win enough things in my book. But no, I'm in love with Samus Aran. It was such a good feeling game to play. It was the definition of the genre, and holy shit, it's just so good. And if anybody wants me to spoil the ending for them, I've got it all recorded. So like the whole last 10 minutes of the game is so fun. Just let me know if you need me to spoil it for you because it's great.
Mine, too shocking, just shocker, is Inscription. I thought about putting Death's Door here, but I'm like, am I really gonna talk about Death's Door? Like, the amount of conversations I've had about Inscription are overwhelming compared to any other game. You know, like Death's Door is great. I loved it, and I figured it'd be in my be my game of the year. And then Inscription came out. Yeah, it's just a stellar game. If you haven't played it, don't watch people play it. Go experience it for yourself because it's worth it.
You know, I will say that I'm really glad that we fucking jumped on that the second it was announced, and we were right about how awesome it was.
Yeah, because we played that demo as soon as it went live, and damn, Chris, we watched you play that demo, and the whole time I was just like, okay, so when is the release date? Like, when can I play this? Yeah, I'm really glad we did.
Right.
I'm usually not on the. Most games I play are years old. I don't play a lot of games that are new. I didn't even care about Halo until I found out it was going to be on Game Pass, and so I didn't have to pay for it. So I usually don't care about new releases that much. But yeah, Inscription made me like ready to play day one, like immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I also love to hear that like Odysseus and Russ and like these people had not heard of the game until we started talking about it, and then we spoke highly enough of it that they bought it and now love it. It's
Russ was like, "You guys are being really cryptic."
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, "You guys are being really weird about this, so I guess I'm gonna pick it up and see what you're talking about."
Yeah.
So cool. Actually, you know what I missed for Comfort of the Year? Two people said Rune Factory 4 and SnowRunner, so let me make sure that I got that on there.
Okay, there you go.
But two games that the community said were their favorite of the year were Aliens Fireteam Elite. That was Josh Hyde again. He said he played that an 8-hour campaign. He said it wasn't like the best game there is, but he had an absolute blast playing that about an 8-hour campaign with his friends, and I can completely relate to that. That playing with a good crew completely makes it. Just like Inscription was so much more fun because we had each other to share it with and be excited with each other with. Alien Fireteam Elite and The Last of Us 2. Those are both good games. So, y'all, this is our final and our longest. Well, actually, this might not be our longest, but one of the longest podcasts that we've done all year. And we appreciate all of you sticking around and listening. Again, I mean, I told you guys that many of my favorite moments from this year were us just hanging out in Discord. And that's not going to change. You're going to see me push for people to get on Discord more and more because it's really the way that you can connect with the community the best. My favorite part is that there's not a feed to scroll through, right? It's just your friends. It's just good people with good things to say. So please hop on our Discord if you're not on there already. It's only growing. But as you can tell from what we've played and the community has played, there are people who like the same games as you. Even if you only play one game a year, even if you only play games that are free, whatever your constraints are, there are other people like you that want to be excited or want to recommend games to you. So please don't be afraid to lurk, but don't be afraid to be active in our community. We really have nothing but good people. So with that, we're gonna let Carlos go watch Spider-Man. And I'll be excited to do that tomorrow. So we're going to end the show, and in a few minutes we'll raid. But really, everybody, thanks for stopping by. Have a wonderful holiday. I hope you play some games about it, and we'll see you in game.
Party hardy.
Peace.
See ya.